A very good evening to you tuned into UBC TV and a warm welcome to UBC News Tonight this Thursday evening, the 27th of October 2022. We'll start with a look at the top stories as we begin. Overspeeding truck rams into border riders and kills 5. Dozens of DRC civilians injured as fighting at Bunagana rages on. URA posts revenue surplus of 286 billion in first quarter. As milk producers welcome Kenyan move to import Ugandan milk. Yes, it's UBC News Tonight. My name is Michael Jordan Lukomwa. Muhammad Mugalu joins in for sign language interpretation. Vice President, retired Major Jessica Alupo, has implored church to take on the mantle of playing a role of nurturing citizens into godly believers. She made the remarks at a patron fundraising dinner for Jubilee Circle, founded by Western Kwale Diocese members, held in Kampala. We have details to the story. Yes, we'll get to that story later on. Uganda Revenue Authority registered a surplus of 286 billion shillings in the quarter one of the financial year 2022-23. The robust performance is attributed to major surpluses registered in key tax heads, among them the international trade net taxes, import duty and domestic tax, among others. However, there is fear of economic slowdown in the second quarter due to a number of factors, as Jeremy O'Mara explains.
By the board members, David Musinguzi, the Uganda Revenue Authority Commissioner General, went through a detailed document containing the facts and figures of the first quarter performance.
From July to September, net revenue collections were 5,418 billion 60 million. This was against a target of 5,132 billion 17 million, resulting into 286.44 billion surplus.
A surplus of Uganda shillings 286 billion is an encouraging development for an economy that is steadily recovering from the adverse effects of the COVID-19 pandemic and other external factors.
This performance represents a growth in revenue of Uganda shillings 957.8 billion, or approximately 21.47% compared to the first quarter of the previous financial year 2021-2022. These collections also accounted for 21.54% of the annual target.
As the revenue body sets its eye on another target of over 6 trillion shillings in the second quarter that runs from October to December 2022, it has to contend with numerous challenges that can cause massive setback. These include reduced disposable income due to inflation, increased cases of Ebola virus that is already taking a toll on the economy, and the fear of a looming total lockdown.
It's very restraining. It affects everybody not very positively. We have to do it for survival. And if there is one person praying alongside the businesses that there will be no lockdown, it is us, the tax collectors. Because once there is a lockdown, even the tax collection effort is hampered.
With the current trend of costs, for example, fuel is going up, food prices are going up because the cod palm oil was imported. We all know that now. Because of those costs increasing, there is also an element of imported inflation into our cost structure of an MSME. So by the time you pay 4 or 5 employees coming into work for their salaries, I mean, an MSME will pay for one and feel the pinch in 1 week.
While mobilizing Uganda's shillings 25.5 trillion is an uphill task, the revenue body is confident that the goal is attainable. Dennis Igoa and Jerome O'Mara for UBC News.
National Drug Authority has seized several drugs and medical supplies worth billions of shillings from various drug stores owned by medical personnel working in government health facilities in the Acholi sub-region. The National Drug Authority, backed by police, also closed several clinics that were not adhering to the NDA regulatory standards.
The closure of this health facility, which was accompanied by the arrest of several health workers in both government and private health facility, was an intelligence-led operation. Officials from the National Drug Authority intend to net the few who steal from the sick for their personal gain.
So how about this condoms from government of Uganda facility?
This one they were giving us to give to people for free.
And then give people for free. So why don't you give to people for free?
Why they are not coming for it?
They are not coming for it.
These used to play cards around. I swear.
And then how about this one? Was it also given to you for free?
This one they just was a box.
Just a box.
Locals applaud the National Drug Authority for their timely response and urge them to make this a routine.
I can say people who can't afford the standards that other people live in have been suffering. And the facilities at our hospital here is also not quite good for everyone. You go to the hospital and they ask you, go and buy for us gloves, go and buy this and this, go and buy this and that. And most times from the hospital they refer you to a specific pharmacy. And to how I've been listening, the pharmacy where they refer you to is mostly the pharmacy where these drugs have been found.
Sometimes, we the persons who used to go, they normally tells us, you go and buy these drugs from outside. And for our knowledge, we know that from the district, they normally brought the medicine.
Abias Wamiri, the National Drug Authority spokesperson, says those arrested will be produced in court and charged with illegal possession of classified drugs.
Being charged with 2 main accounts. One, illegal possession of classified drugs, which contravenes National Drug Policy and Authority Act. The illegal possession of government stores, which contravenes the Penal Code Section 316. If convicted, one can face up to 10 years in prison.
Abias also says they are going to run a background check in all the private health facilities across the country, because they have discovered that most of them are being run by the medical personnel working in government hospitals. Stephen Okello reporting for UBC TV in Gulu.
It is good news welcomed by producers of milk and dairy products in Uganda as Kenya moves to import Ugandan milk into their market. This follows a commitment made by Kenya's President William Ruto towards adding value to locally made milk for market and importing cheaply made milk from Uganda for their own consumption. Renowned Ugandan entrepreneur and milk producer Audrey Krawogo describes the move as good in dealing a blow to non-tariff barriers in the East African region. Henry Okurut has this in detail.
Less than 2 weeks ago, recently elected and sworn in Kenyan President William Samoei Ruto made this pronouncement.
We should have made more steps and allow Uganda to come and occupy the next place as we move ahead. Are we together, good people?
This commitment coming after months and years of pull and push controversies surrounding access of Uganda's milk to the Kenyan market. With Kenya's quest to add value to her own milk for commercial purposes, Ugandan milk is being settled on for consumption.
We should be adding value, producing butter, using it to produce powder, and go and sell it in DRC, go and sell it in Central Africa, go and sell it in West Africa. And then we get the cheaper milk from Uganda and we drink.
This has been welcomed by some milk producers in Uganda.
Uganda is a low-cost producer, and therefore the market of Kenya, we are still so low in terms of supply. There is more Uganda can produce.
Odrek Rwabogo, a Ugandan entrepreneur and himself a milk producer, says this calls for both quality and quantity production.
Very sweet. So that instead of large quantity, long life shelf milk, we also deal with powder, we deal with cheeses, we deal with yogurts, we deal with casein. These are products that can expand the capabilities of our farmers, satisfy the regional market.
As for addressing the challenge of non-tariff barriers in the East African region, both traders and politicians agree that it is time the protocol is implemented.
It's exciting when we have political leaders and technical officials in East Africa remove non-tariff trade barriers and speak about consumption within the region.
The moment harmonization and approximation of these laws has been done, there should be free movement of people, free movement of goods as provided for in these treaties.
According to records from Dairy Development Authority, Uganda's revenue from export of dairy products rose from 480 billion shillings in 2018 to 750 billion in 2020. And by December 2021, Uganda was producing 2.81 billion liters of milk annually, a reason why Kenya's move to have it imported makes it timely. Henry Okurut, UBC.
Vice President, retired Major Jessica Alupo, has implored the church to take on the mantle of playing a role of nurturing citizens into godly believers. She made the remarks at a patron fundraising dinner for the Jubilee Circle, founded by the West Ankole Diocese members, that was held in Kampala.
In the 1990s, the circles were introduced through the Uganda Cooperative Alliance as a response to government's policy of scaling down on its participation in the cooperative movement. These circles were formed to work as conduits for agricultural credit, and as a result, many were started to access that money. 7 years later, the Jubilee Circle was initiated in the West Ankole Diocese. The circle is said to have started with an agenda of individual economic transformation through increasing savings among community members. Jubilee Circle has registered great success despite the stampede moments throughout COVID-19 pandemic.
Share capital is 2.4 billion and the assets value 11.2 billion. That is of Gigabwa Circle. So Jubilee Circle is the business arm of the church, West Ankole Diocese, intended to help communities access affordable credit.
While presiding over the fundraising event for Jubilee Circle West Ankole Diocese at a patronage dinner under the theme Boosting the Circle's Equity, the Vice President of Uganda, retired Major Jessica Alupo, appreciated the church's efforts towards developing communities.
I bring you warm greetings from His Excellency the President of Uganda, General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. Government, we value you and we do not want to underestimate your effort in the transformation agenda of our country. Because on top of education institutions, you also know that some very serious and health institutions were established first by religious institutions.
Alupo also lauded Jubilee Circle as an initiative that shares common goals with the government's recent Project Parish Development model to uplift the livelihoods of ordinary Ugandans, promising to deliver the initiative's request for a cut to the president.
And that's why parish development model, one of the flagship programs of government, is now being implemented across the country to raise the people who would otherwise have not been able to have real cash.
In his speech, the Bishop of Western Kwale Diocese, Right Reverend Johnson Trinomu Junin, called for government's full support in empowering church circles.
Money, ordinarily, is power. And like strength, when you have less power, you do less. When you have more power, you do more. I urge us, let us support this Jubilee Circle.
The fundraising dinner was attended by a team of the clergy from Kampala and Western Kwale, current and former legislators, friends and families, among others.
Our people, the main purpose of government now is try to help improve household incomes, and one of the key drivers is capital.
It's important that dioceses work with government to alleviate the suffering, human suffering.
At the end of the meet and greet dinner, over 450 million shillings was raised in cash and pledges. Ivan Juko, Kenneth Tanaba for UBC News.
Government has explained the recent directive to have all refugees vacate holding centers for settlement. Minister for Relief, Disaster Preparedness and Refugees, Engineer Hilary Onek, says that this was meant to minimize any possibilities of territorial invasion of Uganda from rebel remnants.
Nearly 2 weeks ago, we visited Nyakabande Refugee Holding Center in Kisoro District. This is what we found. Some refugees were organizing themselves to return to their country of origin. It was after they declined to live in standard refugee settlements. Their decision was in response to an August 3rd, 2022 directive from government. Refugees were required to decide on whether to return home or move to refugee settlements.
So we gave that information to the refugees in the trans center, but because food has been there available all the time, free water, free medication, they were not willing to go.
But what informed this decision? Here is the brain and ink behind the official directive.
Many of them refuse to move inland and they prefer to station and stay around the border, which makes us suspicious that really they have dual purposes. They want to be safe in Uganda, at the same time they want to continue giving support to the war which is ongoing in Congo, which we thought that would not be fair for our country. So we decided to direct that they move inland.
Few days after some refugees returned to DRC, fighting broke out again. The Nyakabande Holding Center has again filled to the teeth, rendering refugee response authorities constrained.
Stubbornly, some of them would like to insist to stay at the border. And our enforcement agencies are there to ensure genuine refugees come inland, not to be at the border where there's war, ongoing war.
Whether in or out of the holding center, the directive to vacate borders still remains. It is for this reason that Minister Onek has advised for refugees.
Those who refuse to move inland, let them go back and carry out the activities from within Congo and not in Uganda, because we don't want to get involved in this war in Congo.
For now, Uganda's policy on refugees remains open door for any asylum seeker willing to live in an established settlement. Henry Okrut, UBC.
5 people have this Thursday morning died in a road accident after a truck rammed into border riders at Kabusu roundabout, Rubaga Division in Kampala.
The 8:30 a.m. road crash claimed the lives of 3 border riders, Jared Samata,
Semei Ndondo, and other only identified as Semfuma.
Musawe no yenyini nyini moloka ekonye boda boda tano nga kigambibwa ebadde eva waggulu ku kyaki wali erubaga emaze kuona wera ba boda kati wane ebadde dereva ali mu kudduka ate gyasangidde bano nga bali mu round about nga takyalina kyakola n'esabala boda boda tano mukyalo mwafiiriddewo omuvuzi wa boda boda wa sefu boda afiiriddewo
evudde eryengulu ku side eno kutabani wudu ng'ekkirira oba eri emulemeredde naye abadde ku sipiidi nnyo neekuba abantu 6 kati omu ye agenda okulamuna akutusa amagulu naye nga naye abadde bubi nnyo nnyo nnyo
najja nga dduka ayagala akole ki aleke bali wano eganyidde wano okusiba n'abakuba wano badde abantu nga 10 kale.
Florence Nansubuganda, another passenger who is yet to be identified, also died in the crash. The bodies of the deceased were conveyed to the city mortuary for post-mortem examination. All the injured victims were rushed to Mulago Referral Hospital. Nampima attributed the cause of the accident to the Isuzu ELF truck whose driver, one Gerard Sembatia, lost control while speeding from Rubaga Road before it rammed into 5 motorcycles and a bicycle.
Ziwu nguteka kuwa motoka aze speed eze motoka tezisibirawo aze speed eno Junction lulirwa ambuka no lukiya no luyitamu abadde alina kujja mpola mpola sigaze mpola mpola accident ebadde tegenda kubeerawo asa abantu bangi abasazi bafudde ne baboda bafudde
ewabye nejja neyingira abantu abadde batambula n'abali motoka n'akaboda boda.
The Rubaga accident happened just hours after another truck on Wednesday night crashed into a Oja swamp along Soroti-Mbali Highway, about 300 kilometers east of Kampala, killing 5 and injuring 7 others.
I
was overspeeding and he had also refused to stop because we have officers on the road who are normally doing their normal traffic duties, which are not checkpoints. So he was overspeeding. When he reached a bend by around Aweja, he lost control of the motor vehicle. It overturned and fell in water. Because of that, we had 5 persons who died instantly, and we have conveyed their bodies to Fredka Hospital in Ngora for post-mortem. We had another 5 individuals with serious injuries who were transported to Soroti Regional Referral Hospital for medical care. What we can, on the matter of the cows, this morning we could only, the officers on the ground are saying we lost about 5 cows.
Shaidat Nasaku, UBC News.
Dozens of Congolese civilians have been injured during heavy fighting between the M23 rebels and DRC government forces at Tanda locality, North Kivu province. At least 6 of the casualties were brought to Kisoro District Main Hospital in critical condition for medical attention.
Victims are injured due to heavy fighting between M23 rebels and DRC government forces on Wednesday in the locality of Tanda, include 3 minors and 3 adults who had refused to run into Uganda as refugees. A caretaker to the victims, only identified as Papias, says they were at their home when the fighting ensued and they were hit by the bomb blast while in the house, injuring the 6 family members, and claims that dozens remained behind.
Bombe kiva irucu kiri kuregera imbundiri kurishwe miheru nayo iri kubasubiza kuko FRDC yataramye umusozi bitwa Shwemo kuko niho abahekera bagarukiye.
The injured were evacuated to Kisoro District Main Hospital in critical conditions for medical attention, and the medics at the hospital say the victims are improving.
We have been having them, but this time we have those who have been wounded by bombs and bullets because of the war that is taking place there. We received them yesterday in the afternoon, and the wounded ones are 6 in number. We have 3 males and 3 females, and 3 of them are minors and 3 are adults. They have many wounds, but the doctors are managing the situation.
The RDC Kisoro Safik secondly appealed to the refugees not to continue crossing back to DRC as the fighting between the M23 rebels and government forces is still ongoing.
I'm asking the people who are living along the borderline, especially the Ugandans who go to Congo to dig, please stop, because there is now heavy fighting. Even as I speak now, we are hearing the gunfire within DRC between M23 rebels and the government forces of Congo. So we are telling people don't go to Congo, but we are also receiving the refugees. We want them to accept to go to the settlements and then stop this business of crisscrossing the borders. When they hear that a gunfire has gone down, they want to go back when the fighters are still in the battlefield.
Meanwhile, Kisoro district authorities have issued a one-week deadline to the refugees pinching camp at Bunagana Town Council and its surroundings to pack and be taken to gazetted camps or go back to DRC. It is estimated that over 15,000 refugees have pinched the camp in ungazetted areas within Kisoro district, which is illegal by UN laws.
These people you see here have not been screened medically. We don't know what disease they came with. Okay, we have Ebola, we have COVID, they have measles. Some of them don't even vaccinate for measles in Congo. Those things are not there. So around 12,000 people are stuck along the borderline, but we are going to transport them, take them to the camp, and then they manage them better from there.
This is a country, this is a government, it has leadership, it has authorities. So you are either comply with us, with where we want to host you, or possibly you go back home. Because if you are a visitor and you come into my house, you don't want to dictate that you want to sleep in the bedroom, in the master bedroom. You must sleep in whichever room I give you, not the master bedroom. So there is no question of refusing to comply with.
Philip Aguta, UBC News in Kisoro.
MTN joins the people of Keralur to celebrate the 12th coronation anniversary of the King of Keralur, His Royal Majesty Ubim Philip Raoni III in October. At MTN, we believe that we only succeed if the communities in which we operate succeed. And so, we're happy to join the people and well-wishers of the people of Keralur in promoting social cultural programs of the Ubim.
Walego Mugisa ni Ubimu ku Keralur.
Welcome to the Living Room Stadium. It's the FIFA World Cup. The match is about to start. Food and drink ready. There's no space left for anyone. Come on, get your lucky chair. Take your usual spot. Even the puppy has one. It's preparation time. You can feel the tension in the air. And do you have everything you need to believe?
The Tales of Kasozi, brought to you by Uganda Communications Commission.
Yes, hello? This is Kasozi. How can I help you?
Calling you from the mobile service center.
Okay. So how can I help you?
Well, we have noticed a few things wrong with your number and need your mobile money PIN.
Tontra, never give out your password or PIN to any caller. Your mobile service provider will never call or ask for your personal details. If in doubt, go to your nearest phone service center.
This message is powered by UCC, MTN, Airtel, Bank of Uganda, and NPSP Association.
Do you need data collection services, data analysis and reporting, monitoring and evaluation systems? Then contact Mold Technologies, a professional research firm that has provided many organizations with timely research solutions for over 15 years. For more information, visit www.mt.co.ug or call us on 0704 913 399 or 0782 602 963. Visit our office in Kampala at Sayuni Complex in Tinda. Mood Technologies, your professional research firm.
At Timex Nutrition Center, we advise you on the right foods to eat, exercise profile to adopt, and lifestyle strategies which are compatible to your blood group and genotype. This empowers your body to prevent and treat many diseases like diabetes, blood pressure, arthritis, ulcers, obesity, and many others. For more information, find us at our head office in Kampala on Nassa Road, Conrad Plaza, 2nd floor, or call 0758 819 952 or 0778 288 361. We also have other branches in Mbara and Jinja.
So, I'm here to announce that the MTN Kampala Marathon is back. And this year, we are running for babies. To be clear, I am not talking about a baby. No. And neither am I talking about to be baby. I am talking about these small dollars.
Run for babies in the MTN Kampala Marathon on Sunday, 20th November 2022. Dial star 165 star 77 hash or use the Momo app to register.
UBC News Tonight. Welcome back from the break and thank you so much for watching. The State Minister for Higher Education, Dr. Jesse Muyingo, is worried about the low turn-up of students joining agricultural colleges despite government efforts to modernize and equip these institutions. Minister Muyingo was on the familiarization trip to Bukalas Agricultural College in Wabulenzi District.
Fruit farmers in Luwero district have reason to smile following the equipment of Bukalas Agricultural College with modern juice-making machines. The State Minister for Higher Education, Dr. John Presto Muyingo, who was on familiarization tour to the institution, urged the residents to grasp the opportunity by involving in fruit farming.
So much money has been sunk in this college. The college belongs to you. I want you to own this college by doing everything possible to encourage our younger people to go for the skills that are imparted in this college. This college will not only be passing on the badly needed skills in the employment world, it will also be producing for sale to be able to sustain itself. We are going to install a factory that produces juice.
Minister Muyingo commended the NRM government for skilling Ugandans. However, he was disappointed by the small number of enrollment by the youth.
Whoever has contributed to this great work, particularly His Excellency the President of the Republic of Uganda, thank you for the good leadership. Thank you for the support. Mama, thank you for the good leadership. Mama Janet, thank you for the good support. Thank you for the idea. Thank you for the a lot of guidance you have given to all of us who have been behind this project.
The chairman LC5 Luwero District, Elostas Kibirango, who was grateful with the government for its skilling efforts, encouraged farmers to grow value additional crops to meet the market demand.
As regards the production now, mainly for the people down here, who should transform from peasantry to business or business. So it is very hopeful now.
The deputy principal pledged to utilize equipment effectively. Abdul Nasir Lobwama and Fred Kasebante for UBC News.
The Directorate of Industrial Training at the Ministry of Education and Sports is conducting an occupational best assessment countrywide. Over 8,000 candidates for 200 seating centers are to be assessed. The Directorate of Industrial Training, Dr. Patrick Vyakatonda, says this is part of Skilling Uganda, which is aimed at providing skills to every Ugandan.
Uganda's education system is targeting to produce graduates with skills that are competitive on the labor market. Mbara Municipal Primary School is one of the model schools implementing the dual curriculum, where learners are subjected to vocational training in bakery, tailoring, knitting, soap making, art and design, computer alongside their basic education. The Director of Industrial Training, Dr. Patrick Vyakatonda, says this approach is in response to the demands of the world of work, where schools are required to produce learners who are competitive and are able to do things with their hands.
They are sitting for a modular in baking, a modular in soap making, and modular in tailoring. Now, after that one, then the kids continue to lower secondary or to secondary education. Now, in secondary education, by senior 3, the same kids will have now to sit for level 1.
706 pupils and teachers of Mbara Municipal Primary School are undergoing assessment and certification by the Director of Industrial Training before sitting for their final primary leaving examinations.
From level 1, they continue, they go to level 2. However, having sat for their modular in P6, which is equivalent to PLE, it does not prevent them from sitting PLE next year.
The school head teacher, Nkwasibwe Wilbur, hailed government for their contribution towards vocational training in the school. He calls on parents to interest learners in vocational training at an early stage.
We believe that if this program is rolled to all schools, the country will benefit much. Because as of now, as a school, we have realized that our children who live here live with a certificate in DIT, they live with a certificate at PLE.
The beneficiaries of the initiative say the skills programs will give them alternatives after completing their studies.
Start art and design, you earn money and get money for university and study and finish.
Like you don't get a job, you can get tailoring and you make a shop, you can help other people who don't get school fees.
A total of 2,469 pupils have been assessed by the Directorate of Industrial Training since 2017.
The Vice-Chancellor, Kampala University, Professor Haji Badru Dungu Katerega, has vowed not to pardon and forgive South Sudan students formerly affiliated to his Juba College, where he closed its operations. This comes after these students ran to courts of law after being left out in this year's graduation ceremony, but lost the court case before Judge Boniface Wamala.
Kampala University Gaba campus held its 19th graduation ceremony. However, some students from East South Sudan-based college got nervous after learning that they wouldn't be part of the graduation, dragging the institution to court. These students chose to run to courts of law for justice, having received information that they were not part of the graduate list, yet they had met all the requirements.
That the applicants were not students of the respondent, they were not our students, and there is no way they could have been vetted or cleared for graduation and award of transcripts and certificates if they were not our students recruited by us.
Kampala University dared not to graduate any student who didn't enroll at their institution, asserting they had closed any business with the Juba College, only to learn that students were conned by unknown people.
The administrators at the Juba College and the administrators there include the famous Faizo Juko Kalema, who conned the students, ought to have been alive to this duty and ought to have risen to their calling to a standard that is expected in the interest of education system, in public interest.
Kampala University's Vice-Chancellor also is founder Professor Haji Badru Dung Chigundu. Thursday morning briefed the press over court's verdict by Judge Boniface Wamala in favor of the university.
Also noted that it is not in the public interest that the respondent, that is Kampala University, should graduate and award academic certificates to persons whose admission and instruction it did not superintend.
Haji Katerega ascertained they couldn't reward any credentials to students who are not part of them.
There is no way you start giving qualifications to people whom you never recruited, never taught, never examined, and so on. That's what
Katerega has vowed not to excuse these students from the court penalties and refunds.
975 students who took us to court must pay us.
I'm Ivan Juko for UBC News.
All students of Salama School of the Blind under the Organization of Music for Life have donated assorted items to the school to aid them in their day-to-day life following an inferno that razed the girls' dormitory. The headmaster Salama School of the Blind, Francis Chinobu, says that they have embarked on a rehabilitation strategy of the survivors. However, the royal engagement of Princess Anne with Salama School of the Blind has been cancelled following the tragedy.
The cancellation of Princess Anne's engagement with Salama School of the Blind has lowered the hopes of the proprietors' expectations.
Last evening, we received information that the visit of the princess has been cancelled. She's in the country. You journalists helped us view her in other areas like the Nachivale refugee camp. But on our side as Salama, I think that is history.
The headmaster Salama School of the Blind, Francis Chinobu, says the school needs a vehicle to ease the transportation of children. He says,
we were requesting the British High Commission to provide us with a vehicle in this school, which is in a rural area, very far from the nearest services like hospitals and others. And that's what we are praying for. The vehicle could also help us to go out and identify other blind children who are still hidden in homes, and we bring them to school. We cannot do such an activity on borders in the whole of Buganda, in Rakai, in Diantonde, in Buyukwe, and so on.
The cause of the fire has not yet been identified, as Francis Chinobu has asked for a quick report on the cause.
The girls' dormitory we have is small. That small dormitory was accommodating 27 girls, and that was fairly a big number for that for the girls. And therefore, we were praying to have a spacious girls' dormitory built, to have them more.
In a song sung, the children grieved as they remembered their fallen colleagues calling for equal love from people. All students of Salama School of the Blind under the Organization of Music for Life have donated assorted items to help the school with their school feeding program. The school has closed for a week to allow parents to grieve with the affected families before resuming normal program, including primary 7 candidates writing their primary living examinations. Sudat Kaye, Abdul Nasir Ruwama, and Sharon Kamba.
UBC News Tonight. Here's another short break. Do not miss what we have on return. Thank you for watching.
Did you know that women constitute majority of Uganda's population? However, the high numbers do not match the level of participation of girls and young women in sports. Some of the challenges contributing to low female participation in sports include negative cultural norms, lack of parental support, sexual harassment, gender stereotypes, unequal recognition and remuneration, among others. Everyone has a responsibility to encourage a girl or young woman join a sport of her choice, support girls or young women in active sports to excel, above all, make sports safe, violence-free and inclusive. This message is brought to you by the Mentoring and Empowerment Program for Young Women, MEMPRO.
The Electricity Disputes Tribunal is a specialized quasi-judicial body established under Section 93 of the Electricity Act to handle all civil cause disputes relating, but not limited to, regulatory disputes, billing and licensing, tariffs, power generation, transmission and distribution issues, compensation resulting from activities in the electricity sector including civil wrongs and breaches of statutory and contractual duties and consumer-related complaints. The Electricity Disputes Tribunal is a special court and the first instance court that deals with electricity matters in the country. For more information, please contact the Electricity Disputes Tribunal at Amber House, Kampala Road, opposite Post Office, or call us on 041 232987.
Welcome to Friends Stadium. Everybody's ready. Wait a second, not everybody. Come on, dude, it's the FIFA World Cup. You're going to lose your seat, the ritual seat, the lucky one. Losing more than a seat, your team is going to lose. Where are you, dude? The match is about to start. Your friends won't hold out much longer. Excuse me. Finally, everything is in the right place. Hey, other hand. And you, do you have everything you need to believe?
UBC Business News tonight. Hima Cement has set a goal of taking a new path in waste management, making it a potential raw material. The Hima Cement Country Chief Executive Officer Daniel Peterson says that post-consumer waste, industrial scrap and unwanted byproducts must be viewed as raw materials that are underused. Peterson made the remarks in a meeting with Hima Cement customers in Kampala.
Essential to securing the transition to green energy technologies, growth and sustainable development. Daniel Peterson says Hima Cement has provided sustainable waste management solutions to industries by converting waste from other industries to energy.
For me, it's a revolution. We are at our group now going into construction waste. So what does it mean, construction waste? Is what is around us one day will not be utilized. Buildings, okay? This is material. And this is resources. Do we need to mine? Can we take the waste to have raw material to make concrete, to make cement?
The commercial director Hima Cement, Israel Tenkasimile, says Hima Cement has tried to simplify the way they do business with their customers through digitalization.
Challenges to come up with new solutions, and I think we have done our very best to meet the mark. So every one of you that has come to us with a need and with a request for a tailor-made solution, I think we have more than delivered. And I'm not talking about just the people in this room. I'm talking about everywhere within the East African region.
Israel says the company has impacted so many lives by investing in the agriculture sector, education, among others. He thanked their customers for challenging them to come up with new solutions which have enabled the company to spread to northern Tanzania. Hima Cement has introduced innovative solutions and products used in construction areas that can reduce sulfate attack, among others.
Cement is one of the biggest emitters of carbon dioxide. As a matter of fact, if you look at, for example, ordinary Portland cement, a ton of ordinary Portland cement, to produce it, you produce about 850 kilograms of carbon dioxide, which goes into the environment. So as Hima Cement, we've come up with innovative products and solutions that reduce the CO2 that is emitted, whereas giving you products that are of the right quality and performance to ensure that the building, if you're building, say, a house or an infrastructure project, the net CO2 footprint that is emitted due to the structure that you're putting up is limited.
It has also
Uganda Christian University's chance of reclaiming the Pepsi University Football League crown have been stopped by a spirited Uganda Matters University performance in the two's semi-finals second leg in Nkozi. Visitors, Uganda Christian University took a 1-0 first leg lead that was just cancelled out, and they lost the resulting post-match sport kicks.
Uganda Matters University Nkozi has capitalized on home crowd advantage and calm nerves to eject reigning Pepsi University Football League champions Uganda Christian University Mukono after an epic second leg. Uganda Christian University carried a fragile 1-0 lead into the second leg that they held on to till Sane Kaija struck in the 67th minute to put hosts Uganda Matters 1-0 up on the day, and the tie 1-1 on aggregate. There were no further goals, thus forcing a post-match penalty shootout to determine who progresses to the final. Tense doesn't describe the situation during the sport kicks, but to Uganda Matters the end, especially after Sane Kaija tucked the decisive penalty kick for a 5-4 victory, is all that mattered. For Uganda Christian University, it's a case of too near yet so far, but nonetheless will bank on lessons and experience ahead of the next edition.
Okusamba ewaka tubeera na advantage nti ekisaawe tukimanyi bulungi we tutrainingira. Kituufu singa tubeera tetufunye bubonero bwe twagala, tubeera tetukoze kimale ewaka.
For one attempt to repeat the 2017 championship winning feat, Uganda Matters University will face either St. Lawrence University or Makerere University Business School. That game, whose second leg is in Nakawa, scheduled for next Tuesday, is 2-1 in favor of St. Lawrence. This year's Pepsi University Football League is the 10th edition of this glamorous championship that has groomed talent used by most top Ugandan clubs and many beyond. John Barnes, Sentamo, UBC Tonight.
The Uganda Cricket Association has summoned the squad of 18 ladies from the senior women's cricket team Victoria Pearls to start training on the 31st of October 2022 ahead of their tour to Kenya slated for December the 12th to the 22nd of December 2022. The selected squad includes popular names like Janet Mbabazi, Esther Iloku, Rita Musamali, and team captain Konzi Aweko. The 18 will also include 3 girls promoted from the under-19 team, including Malisa Ariokot, Kevin Amuge, and Lona Anyait. Sandra Nakayovu of Wanderers Club will also be getting a first shot with the Victoria's Pearls. Immaculate Nakisui, Stephanie Nampima, Irina Lumo, Esther Iloku, and Proskovia Alako will also make a return to the team after missing the first 3 engagements. The Victoria Pearls have not had any international engagement since the Rwanda Kwibuka tournament in June 2022, where they finished 3rd. The Kenya tour will act as a stage to prepare the ladies for the 2023 continental and international competitions. For now, we cannot go beyond this point. Thank you so much for watching. Our other bulletin is 10 p.m. Do not miss. My name is Michael Jordan Lukomwa with Muhammad Mugalu and the whole team. We love you. Keep it here. Enjoy the next program.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.